Thank you guys. Thank you so much for joining us for the newest episode of the Elite Podcast, where we come to you with little tips and tricks how to make your streams and your content creation at the utmost, the pent ultimate. So, today we're talking about social media, which is a very important part of streaming and content creation. Back in the day, if you were a streamer in the 1800s, you'd only be able to use smoke signals. Thank God we have Twitter. So, what I wanted to start off with you guys is there's tons of social media. There were even new ones created recently that some even got shut down. But what social medias would you consider to be must-haves for a streamer? And what ones would you consider to be the least important? Now, I know that a lot of them are important, but there is a level, there's a hierarchy here. So, Nixter, I'm going to ask you first. When it comes to social media, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, even YouTube, you can use even. What would you consider to be the must-haves for a streamer?
Twitter's probably number one. It has to be number one because that's your best bet of letting your community know when you're streaming, any updates, or just sharing little bits of details about your life. In terms of least important, I'm gonna say TikTok because I don't know what that is.
That's the most boomer answer I've ever heard. I don't know what it is, so
Yeah,
it's not on the list.
What is a
but
TikTok?
what is a TikTok?
It's at a clock?
But
I don't know.
but Twitter is the most actually even more important than Twitter. I would say is Twitch. If you want to be a good streamer, you probably need a Twitch account. But
Okay, I
yeah, no
would
Twitch.
theoretically yes, it is a social media in a way. So yeah,
But Twitter, Discord, if we're gonna count Discord as social media, which I do, Discord, Reddit is up there, YouTube is up there. Um, Anything else? No particular order. Twitter's number one,
yeah,
and then somewhere in there, Discord, YouTube. Just depends on however you use your own social medias. Like Discord's good because my channel didn't grow until I started joining Discords and networking with others. So in that sense, and also you can let people who don't follow you on Twitter or new people know when you're going live and if they want to check you out. Because I mean, I've had countless followers just from different Discords I've been in. So yeah, definitely Twitter, Discord. Reddit's good for tips, not so much for advertising, but it is good to pick up some tricks and tips. And YouTube is good to just post some little fun videos. And
yeah,
sometimes someone who's just going through the YouTube rabbit hole will stumble across your stuff and be like, "Oh, I want to watch this person when they're live."
yeah. Like I really, really agree with all those sentiments. The one thing I would say though is the only slight disagreements I have is with Reddit. I feel like with Reddit and even Steam groups, because it's weird. A lot of people don't think about Steam groups, but if you're thinking about the gaming genre, for example, when I started with Resident Evil on my YouTube channel, that's how I got a lot of my like first attention and my first following base was on Reddit, the Resident Evil subreddit. And I think if you don't look at it as going to like Twitch Reddit and you go to the specific genres of what you're putting out like content wise, it could be a pretty useful tool. um, I would say kind of in line even with both Steam groups and Reddit. Even I would say above Discord almost, just because you can get into niche. But I do hear what you're saying. Definitely 100% agree with the other ones, and I definitely want to touch base on Facebook and Instagram and ask your opinions on that. But first, I want to ask Flemma what you think your level of importance is with these social medias.
I completely agree with Nick. Twitter being 100% the biggest platform. I think when you compare like Twitter, so like I've got Twitter and Instagram, and I don't know. I think Twitter's just a bit easier to quickly share some content because Twitter's just can be text based.
Yeah,
It can be just text, right? So you don't have to prepare a video or a picture. I use Instagram every now and then. I don't use it maybe as much as I should, mainly to share clips. My opinion on TikTok, I think you could get a lot of followers from it if you went on TikTok. However, TikTok is a much younger audience. So
yeah,
it also depends on your audience. If you've got a younger fan base, then 100%. I can't name anyone particularly that I know has a younger fan base, but like my fan base, for example, it's quite varied, but it's probably people around my age, so in their 20s and 30s. Um, so I think TikTok, yeah, could help you grow, but I don't know if it's yeah, it depends on your audience and kind of what games you play as well. Um, Facebook again is a difficult one because there's a different age range for Facebook as well.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Um, having one of my older jobs, I worked in like social media job, and Facebook was popular for us, and that was the biggest platform. We didn't really have a Twitter, was because Facebook's target audience was our target audience. So I would say around, a lot of people do have Facebook, but big target audiences are people like around their 40s. That I'm not getting this data from anywhere secure. This is just from what I've seen as well. Like I could be completely wrong, but from our job perspective, it was people in their 40s. So in that retrospect, I don't use Facebook as often because, or like 40s, 50s, sort of like, but my audience aren't really that age range.
Yeah.
So I don't tend to see a lot of activity on my, if I was to post on Facebook, because that's not what my followers are. They're more on Twitter. But yeah, come back to important again, Discord. Again, completely the same as Nick. Like that is where I really start to my growth, because that's where I was really able to properly network. Going back to our last one, networking
That's
is very
beautiful.
important.
It's very true.
And yeah, I heard people say Snapchat, but I don't use Snapchat anymore. That
yeah.
was, I don't know if people do. It's not for me personally.
I stopped using Snapchat years ago, and I kept getting snaps of like, "Look, I'm making dinner." It's like I don't care.
Yeah, the thing is with Snapchat was like it's a thing and then it's gone. That's why I prefer Instagram, because it's not there and gone. It's something you can scroll through and it's always there. Those are the main platforms that I use personally. I know there are more helpful ones out there. Like I don't really use Reddit that much. Again, I kind of use it more for entertainment purposes than promotional purposes. So yeah.
You have to be careful on Reddit. There's a lot of gatekeeping when it
Mm.
comes to communities and whatnot. Like you don't want to run into a community and be like, check out my video. You want to engage with the community and then ask for advice and kind of slither your way in there like a little Slytherin snake. And then you can establish yourself a little bit in those communities. And I think another point you guys made was demographics and age ranges being extremely important. So for Facebook, even though Facebook and Instagram are in tandem business wise, you're looking at Facebook as being like a boomer central
Yeah.
almost, and you're not going to get as much, I would say, interaction with especially other streamers or people younger, because people are using Twitter and even TikTok now much more so. Facebook is like I see like the late 30s and up using it more often. And for this kind of content, like if you were making, another thing that's important is I think content specificities. So if you're making skits or you're making like specific comedy videos, it might be wise to put them on Facebook. But if you're focusing just on streaming video games, maybe not so much. And I think TikTok too is another, it's like the new Vine. So you gotta
Vine.
you gotta you gotta split up your content. So TikTok, you're making skits. Twitter, it's kind of like the everyman. That's why it's so important for streamers. And like when you guys said Snapchat, the only thing I could really think of it being useful for, and I could be wrong, but when you're like if you're like doing like an OnlyFans or selling maybe like lewd content and it goes away and your followers get a chance to check it out, like boom, Snapchat makes sense, right? Because it goes away.
That is exactly what, if I've gone onto, and I'm not going to go into this topic, but if I go onto like some big female streamers, they're like, if you sub, you get both Snapchat, and it's just like, oh, like that's. I don't want to know any more than that.
I know it's snapping.
Yeah.
You're right. I think it's, but it's not busting balls. I'm saying it in a way of like there's specific reasons to use platforms, and I think that's Snapchat's niche, and I think TikTok has a niche, and etc. etc. But the everyman is Twitter. We can all agree on that for streamers especially. So another question I wanted to ask you guys is your images on social media across the board. Would you be consistent with them, or would you create, brand specific images for those social media? So like if you're a really big streamer, but then you have a TikTok following for skits, would you change up your brand image a little bit, or would you keep it consistent pretty much no matter what you do?
See, I guess the only social media I use in terms of other than, Discord and everything is Twitter. That's really the only one where I'm going to interact with you outside of Discord. And I actually have two separate Twitters, thanks to the almighty Kaiser who suggested this, because I had a personal Twitter years and years and years and years and years before I started streaming, before Twitch existed,
Yeah.
which I used for my personal life of live tweeting sporting events. And then when I got into streaming, I used that to also be like, "Hey, I'm live now," but you get this weird mishmash of, "Hey, I'm live," and, "Oh, my team is losing. I hate everyone. Fire everybody."
Tim the Tap Man.
So exactly, exactly. So then I've separated. So now I have my personal Twitter and my gaming Twitter. And if you still want to hear my hot takes, you can follow my personal Twitter. But if you want to know when I go live, which most of the people who follow me through Twitch do, they want to know my streaming schedule, all that stuff. That's my gaming Twitter. And with my gaming Twitter, it's mostly, "Hey, I'm live now. Hey, here's my schedule." But once in a while, there'll be something relevant in my life that I will post to my gaming Twitter, but not to my personal Twitter because I feel it's more relevant to my gaming audience. And it might be something like, "Hey, my dog did something funny." You know what I mean? And more people who follow me on my gaming Twitter know who Lily is because she makes an appearance on my stream and she has an emote. She's very popular.
Yeah.
She has as many emotes
And
on my channel as I
adorable.
have. She's very adorable.
Lily for president.
Exactly. Lily for prime minister.
Lily for PM. All right, we're doing
Yeah,
both. The first double.
Brit.
All North
There you go.
America.
So something that like Lily does, I might be more inclined to post on my gaming Twitter than on my personal Twitter, just because a majority of my followers on my personal Twitter are a different audience. They don't really care about my dog because they don't know I have a dog. So
Okay.
I guess in that sense, I'm
I think
tailoring
they
my
care.
content. Yes, and I
People
have
love dogs.
there you go. I have started to get some people on Instagram through streaming, but again, my Instagram account started as a just a personal Instagram account. Like it's not even the same name as my streaming because it was before I started streaming. But now I I've kind of changed my Instagram so that I'll post some things that are relevant to both my regular friends who I've added through Facebook on Instagram and also some of the gaming side. Like, "Oh, hey, I just got this brand new game." I'll post it on Instagram because that's kind of relevant to, "Hey, this is going on my life to, my regular followers, but also to my gaming followers." It's something like, "Hey, this you can expect to see this in a stream sometime soon."
Yeah. But, yeah.
Yeah, I completely like Nick's made a really good point there that I didn't think of actually. That um you should make a separate Twitter if you've got a personal Twitter for your streaming because it's all about your brand. And he's right. Like if you this is a difference for me. Like on my Twitter, I want to be posting stuff about streaming, about horror games coming up, for example. Uh, when I wanted to tweet to my internet provider because they were giving me shitty internet, I didn't want to do that, obviously, on my Twitch one because no one on my that's following wants to know about my shitty internet. Um, so it's important for that aspect because he's right. There'll be some things that you'd want to tweet in your personal one that your followers might not be interested in. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. So I completely agree. Really good point. Really good point, Nick.
Yeah, people are finicky. They could lose followers for being, irrelevant to them. It sucks, but it's
Exactly.
true. But there's also so there's almost a damned if you do, damned if you don't procedure with this, and I think that it's extremely smart to have a personal one for things that extend into your personal life almost to an extreme. Like you said, if you're going to complain about something, but I would say, make sure you're posting original content too that reflects your persona. Even if it's an overzealous look at your persona or dramatized, make sure you're posting OC because people are gonna. Whenever I see people's Twitters and it's constantly just like follow me here. I'm going live. I'm doing this, and I'm like, why? Why am I following you? Like, what else do you have to
That
offer? So make sure you're doing some OC. What were you gonna say, Flemma?
I was gonna say like that. If we're gonna talk about pet peeves when it comes to social media, I
Yeah,
don't know if you're gonna come into that, but oh my, I think I've mentioned this before in the podcast, but like if you've got a Twitter, I feel like I say Twitter really weirdly. If you've got a Twitter just to say you're going live, why should I follow you?
Yep.
Mhm.
Right? If I've got notifications on my phone, which will tell me if someone's gone live. Obviously, there's a difference, right? If you do a big post being like, "Oh, I've got this stream coming up, it's going to be really good," that's fine. And I think I don't mind going live posts. Actually, let me change that. But if that is all that you post, if it's the only thing you post is "I'm going live," sorry about the police cars.
They're coming for
What
Flemma.
did you do?
Every time. If you only post about going live, why should I follow you on Twitter? That's not interesting.
It's not. No, you're right.
It's really, and it's just my biggest pet peeve, guys. It's like social media, use it effectively. Use
Yeah.
it to show the amounts of times like I very rarely see funny clips or like interesting clips again. And if we'll come into that, guys, but like share your brand. That's what the social media should also be doing, as well as your Twitch.
Mhm.
Share your brand, show your personality. If all you're ever posting is "I'm going live," I don't know anything about you, and
Mhm.
it really grinds my gears.
Yeah,
Peter
and
Griffin reference. Really grinds my gears. Like post something interesting. Like they say, it's fine to show you going live.
Yeah,
Post
definitely.
something else.
Mhm.
And with your
Otherwise,
clips,
yeah.
you know, you're right. You're right. But I'd say another thing too is like what you said, show your brand off with these funny clips too. Something that I've
Mm.
noticed is you guys could use Reddit to get test audiences or look around for your content to see if it appeals to, you know, your groups or gamers, because don't if you show your friends, most likely they're going to be nice to you and you're going to post content that's just not fucking funny. And I've
Yeah.
seen so many Twitch clips where I'm like, you threw in like a little bit of text, but holy shit, are you not funny? So, you know, try to feel it out and ask people if they think you're interesting, and then post that kind of content, but be objective about it. It's extremely important that you're not putting out weak shit on Twitter and social media, because people will see that and be, I'm never gonna go check that guy out.
You say that, my boyfriend's always brutally honest with me. He's
Good.
like, that's what he's like, what happened? That's not funny. I'm like, but it's like, it's not funny.
Yeah,
I guess like some clips might. I think another tip is if you're posting clips to social media and someone's seeing that clip of you for the first time, make sure that that clip alone makes sense. Because
Yeah.
like it might be like, oh, this is really funny thing that happened, but you kind of need to know what happened earlier in the stream to realize
Makes
it's funny.
sense. Mhm.
And that all the time I do that, and my boyfriend would be like, I don't get it, but what's going on? Da, da, da. And I'm like, "Da, da, da." He's like, yeah, but it's like,
Yeah.
I love you saying people be nice. I'm like, he's very honest. He's very
Good.
nice.
See, there have been times where
Kinda.
people have clipped something in my channel that's funny, but not enough of it is clipped. So don't be afraid to go
Mm.
back in your stream and find where that happened and maybe make a longer clip, because it might be funny to the person who clipped it because they already know the context. But if some Joe Schmo just sees it on Twitter, they're not going to know the context. They're going to be like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Why am I wasting my time on this kind of thing?
Happens all the
And
time.
because I just made a year in review video, which because
Brilliant.
I'm the worst procrastinator ever. It took me 3 weeks to make.
I loved it.
But
It was brilliant.
thank you, thank you. But
Mm.
what it evolved was a lot of clips, because I don't remember everything that's happened in every stream. And I downloaded all my clips from last year and I'd go through them and I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's not really that funny without by putting it in. Like, that's not really that funny, even with like fancy editing. It's okay. It's okay. So it's okay to be picky.
Yeah.
It's okay to be picky.
Be picky. It's your
Be
brand.
Be
picky.
critical.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's a good point too you guys made, because the original question was, you know, talking about icons and images, and I don't think that that's the important bit. I think the important bit, I mean, you definitely should keep it consistent. I think so, 100%. But I think that
Mhm.
the important bit here for this question is keep your content specific to the social media. And I think that
Yes.
that, you know, rides back to what we said at the beginning. So yeah, keep your images consistent because your brand is your baby, but then keep the content specific to the platform and your demographics. And then some tips that I wanted to give about each of these, and if you guys want to chime in too, I want to hear your thoughts. But for Facebook, like pages, for example, for that type of demographic, and especially if you're making skits or comedy routines, you know, Facebook is a good place to go. You can set up your page, just make the content appealing and be consistent. You can use call to actions on Facebook, which are really useful. And I would say, you know, linking out to your website, for example, or either other socials. And you can have events and milestones, which are pretty cool. And the events can let people know, you're streaming a charity event or you're doing this specific 12-hour, 24-hour stream, and you can get people hyped up there. It's pretty useful for that aspect. What do you guys think? Is there any other tips you have for Facebook?
Yeah, I don't know about Facebook, but I know one of my things that I try to be conscious of on Twitter is not tweeting too much at once, because then
Yeah.
what you're doing gets buried in what you're saying.
Yeah.
And when I released my year in review video, that was the big thing. I wanted to pump that up, but around the time I had my stream schedule made for the next week, and it's like I had to kind of space out when I tweeted those, so I actually delayed tweeting out my stream schedule for a day just so I could push out this this year in review. And then so I tweeted it out, and then several hours later I retweeted it, quoted it, and said, "In case you missed it, hey, I posted this," because not everyone is on Twitter all the time.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
So sometimes, at least for Twitter, and I'm going to say Instagram, probably Facebook too, is less is more.
Yeah, and you can make use of your time.
100%.
So instead of tweeting 3 things in a day, you could tweet it out, throw an Instagram post on there with the same message like 5 hours later, throw a Facebook post out there 5 hours later with the same message, and you could hit your demographics and not seem too greedy to put out more content on the same thing over and over again. So you can make use of them as different channels for the same content. It's actually a pretty wise thought, Nick.
And if you use TweetDeck, I believe you can
Mhm.
schedule tweets.
You can. There's
So
different
you can
social media
have
tools.
Yeah, very good point.
What you could have what?
Oh, you can have a bunch of tweets planned out in advance and space them out that way without you having to remember. You can just be like, I want this at
Yeah.
noon. I want this at
Yeah.
5. I want this at 10 p.m.
It's very wise. You could use different. There's a lot of social media tools, guys. You could check out like Hootsuite, etc., and you could plan out a schedule for your content that you don't have to be around to do. So that's extremely important. And then for Twitter, we talk so much about Twitter, but a couple things that we wanted to discuss too is make sure you're making use of your links and your description, and that's going to help your SEO ranking quite a bit. As long as people are looking for those specific types of streamers, content creators, make use of every bit of that space. I see some people being kind of vague and silly, but I see other people spamming it with irrelevant stuff. Just find a happy middle ground, and then pinning a
Follow
tweet.
for follow.
Don't do
Lurk
that.
for
Yeah,
lurk.
no, no, no.
Don't do that.
You go streamer jail. And then have your
Yeah.
pinned tweet with exciting info, like expand on your description or give people a reason to follow. You can include your links down there. There's a lot of space on Twitter that people don't really make use of.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, I was going to say, I need to change my pin tweet is absolute shite. Really good example of pin tweet is yours, Manny. It's perfect because it stands out, but it gives you all the information. It's not like too like what's the word? It's blurby. Like it just gets straight to the point, but it's clear and concise. Like good example, guys, of a pin tweet.
I appreciate
Check
that.
out.
I think I have like
That's true.
I do. So another thing I want to talk to, and this is going to segue into that pinned tweet comment. So something people might notice is that when I had started doing content creation, what I started to do with my brand was market myself via events and giveaways. I would sponsor things, and I would put my brand image there, and it's pretty easy to do. But when we talked about less is more and quality over quantity over and over again, it led me to get like tons of people that liked my like image or liked a couple tweets and followed me, and then boom, they're not interacting with me anymore. So it's kind of like a shallow number. Even though, you think of sponsoring something, you're going to get relevant people that want to follow you. And with that pinned tweet, there's not many likes on it. And if you see my follower count, it's quite high because of sponsoring that stuff. And I think the most important thing is creating the content specific to your audience, no matter what your follower number is. So make sure that you're using your data to cross-reference with what you're doing, tweeting, and how you're putting out different social media posts, and make use of that data to study the best times and your audience to what you put out to get those interactions. And definitely look at examples of other people's Twitters. Check out their actual expanded sections, their descriptions, their tags, or I'm sorry, actually going to the pinned tweet. And then another thing too is retweeting allows you to network with other streamers you like. I would say not in a quid pro quo sense, but putting out some information for other people, they might do it in return for you down the line. So there's also ways to network on Twitter. Would you guys like to expand on that? Any other thoughts about Twitter?
I think when you can, going back to retweeting, is quote retweet if you can, because you're
Ah,
not going to think of something
yes.
clever every time, but you know, if someone if someone you particularly like is like, "Oh, I'm live now," or "I'm gonna be live tonight," you can, something simple like, "Oh, go check out so and so. They're great, they're funny, highly recommend them." Something like that. And it might not necessarily be a quid pro quo type thing, but at least you're providing some kind of um you're providing some kind of interaction. You're opening that door for some interaction. But, I mean, you can't always do it because I'm guilty of this too. Because I get the notifications on my phone, I'll just click retweet because I can't think of anything. Because sometimes my brain's just off. Most of the time, my brain's just off. But, that's probably the big thing is
Mhm.
quote retweet.
Yeah, that's wise too. Don't just because it comes off sometimes as being lazy. If you add a little bit of your 2 cents into a tweet, or I'm sorry, a retweet, it's going to come off as more original. People are more likely to interact with it. So I think that that's super smart.
And the
Fun.
other thing with that too is if you just retweet, if someone's scrolling through their, timeline, it's gonna just show that tweet, and then in the small rating at the top, it'll say who retweeted it. But
Hmm.
if you're not glancing that, you're just gonna think it's someone you follow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, these little tidbits are extremely useful. It takes so long too. People don't realize, like, when you get into Twitter, it seems simple, and then you're like, oh, this thing, and then this thing, and then this evolves, and then I have to do this, and this connects to that. Social media is actually quite interesting and intricate, and I think marketing on the whole is, and especially SEO. People need to make a lot of effort to really, really do their post justice with keywords that are relevant but aren't too much, with hashtags that aren't too crazy but just enough to get you shown. Just make sure you guys are studying how well you do your posts. Flemma, what do you think? Is there anything I missed on Twitter? I'm jumping all over the
Um,
place.
that's what podcast is. Jump all over.
Yeah.
I think with tweets, I've actually learned a lot from you guys in Elite when it comes to Twitter. One thing I've learned: use emojis. I know, don't use them spammingly,
Yeah.
a bit of a word, um, but use them because for me, if I see an emoji or something, because it's something colorful. If you're on a platform Twitter, it's all just kind of text and it's pictures and videos and stuff. But it's more likely to make me stop if
Yep.
there's emojis or something. Um, so like, I use them every single tweet. Maybe it does, it might not necessarily get someone's attention, but maybe it will. Especially if you've got something really important to say, or you think, oh, this is really funny, pop in an emoji. Personally, for me, I'm more likely to stop scrolling if there's emoji in that. So it's something little, but also don't use them wisely. Don't
Mm-hmm.
don't then go, oh, I'm gonna put in tons of emojis, and it's like don't do that. Don't
Eggplant
spam them.
emoji, eggplant
Yeah.
emoji, eggplant emoji.
Spit,
Yeah.
spit, spit. In moderation, just like drinking, guys.
Yeah.
Emojis. It's
Yeah,
like vodka.
exactly.
But yeah,
Well,
also images.
vodka.
Yeah, me too, honestly. But images and visual stimulation is what people want. And in the internet
Yeah.
age, people are so quick and fickle to just, bugger off. So give them something to appeal, put an appeal and a little bit of zing to your posts, and make sure you're focusing on those images and definitely emojis. It gives your text a little pop. Little
Yeah.
pop.
And
Um,
and when you do go live posts, don't just go, oh, I'm going live. And that's it. If you are gonna do them, make them interest. Put some like a funny quip in there, or like ask a question or something like
oh
that.
yeah.
Like, yeah, because like like good example, Kirito. I call him Kitty, but people won't know maybe who I'm talking about. If I
Giddy
say that.
toes.
Giddy toes, yeah. Kirito always, he'll put something funny at the top. So it's not just, oh, I'm going live.
Yeah.
Nice, interesting image with it. It will make me stop because I'm like, oh, okay. Um, so yeah, like make it interesting rather than just going live. I would say that because that I'll scroll right past that. Going live now, gonna try and I think the worst one sometimes are when people playing FPSs. They'll be like, "Oh, I'm going live now, gonna grind out some whatever." I don't play
Yeah, and like, why
FPSs.
do I care?
I'm like, cool. There's so many people playing FPSs. Say something that's gonna make me want to go there, not just I'm grinding out. So is like thousands of other people on
Right.
Twitch.
Yeah, make yourself the star.
Make it unique. Yeah,
Yeah.
like sell yourself.
Yeah,
Put
call
out your
action.
Not in
memes.
that way.
Show us your memes.
Sell your OnlyFans account.
Yes. Oh,
Put a free picture of your OnlyFans. A free
Especially-
sample.
It's frustrating as well because when I see someone who I follow that go, they're a good streamer. They deserve more attention. But like, show
Live
that.
now.
Show that.
Come hang.
Yeah. Oh god, I hate that. That's like, yeah. Twitter's do's and don'ts. Do not go. Come hang out. Don't miss out. You know, like sometimes it's okay. I don't know. Personally for me, yeah, I'm not a fan of like,
I know.
yeah, come like make sure you don't want to miss. I'm like,
yeah, and then I
it's
go
like,
there,
maybe I do. Like,
and I'm like, I'm bamboozled. This is horrible content. I'd rather be at the dentist. What are you doing?
My my going live tweets are always a funny line, live now with whatever, and then
Yeah.
a call to action like you don't
Yes.
check it out, come here, whatever. Link to the Twitch channel because that's a big one, and then the elite hashtag, which
I'll
is
take you.
I am-
part of the elite.
I
thing.
always put in we are elite.
But
Tell me.
yesterday, I streamed the finale of my Pokemon White
Yep.
2 randomized Nuzlocke, and that wasn't even my whole stream, but that was the main event, I guess. And it was after 4 months, several deaths, and several hours of grinding. It's time, live now, and it's like, ooh,
Yeah, exactly.
what is
like
that?
I clicked in. I went.
Yeah,
and
me too. That was perfect, actually.
Yeah.
I was
And for
like,
those wondering, I
"Ooh."
beat it. I beat the game. So it was a successful Nuzlocke challenge.
That's right. And that's the kind of stuff, man. Call to actions are giving people a reason to come through. That was an amazing tweet, or giving people a reason to interact with it and follow
Yeah.
through. It's God, man. So see, Twitter, when you boil it down, it seems complicated, and then it gets kind of rough. But then you make it into a nice little soup, and you know how to
Mhm.
make the soup.
Mm.
See that metaphor? Yeah, soup.
Now
Twitter-
I'm hungry.
Twitter is soup.
I say don't rush it as well. 'Cause
Yeah.
sometimes as well, like I'm like, oh, I haven't sent a tweet. Oh, quickly. Oh, I can't think. Oh, do this, and then I look at it, and I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, don't rush it. You'll burn the
Like,
soup.
Yeah. Don't
See,
burn the soup.
I
That soup
pre-write
is
my
gross.
tweets. I pre-write my tweet. So first thing I do when I'm getting ready to stream, because usually I do about an hour, half an hour before I start streaming, I'm setting up. So update everything on Twitch, the title and everything.
Yeah.
Get the tweet ready, but don't send it until I'm actually live, and then figure out what I'm doing music-wise to start and finish the stream.
Nick's got a chalkboard in his room. He like does math problems and tweets on there, and then
Yes, you know that scene in It's Always Sunny,
yes,
Philadelphia?
yes,
Yes,
in the
That
mailroom.
was
yes.
me before every stream.
Yeah, Charlie in the mailroom. It's like, I got a tweet, man. You got to check this out. Guys, I love it. So yeah, we touched on the only one we really didn't talk about too much is Instagram, and I think something to remember is it's all visual. Instagram is kind of the polar opposite of Twitter. You think text based and image based, and it's a place I think to show off yourself more so than your
And
content.
your OnlyFans.
Yes, the PG version of it. No
Yes.
nipples allowed. But it's a good place to. I would say if you have really good clips, yes. But I do see a lot of
100%.
people doing the faux pas of having really bland, boring FPS clips. Oh, that's the biggest. That's my biggest.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I'm 100%
It's like-
with you.
It's like Overwatch highlights.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening. And no offense to anyone that plays
Same.
Overwatch. It's just like, look at this amazing play. I'm like, what's
Yeah, same thing with League of
happening?
Legends. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Color vomit.
I don't. We've just defended like Foops, Arati, and Creepy, and everyone who plays Overwatch.
Good.
Sorry, guys.
Good.
We love you. I'm with you, but then if you don't play Overwatch, then you're not. It's like
Yeah,
if you
exactly.
went-
I'm
if
not.
I
I guess
went-
I'm not the target.
Yeah, if I went and watched someone watch League
Mhm.
of Legends, I'm like, I have no idea what's going on, but that's just because I don't know how to play the game.
Like, what are you-
Yeah.
I would say, focus on like really interesting, cool things people want to see. Like, for example, like recently I did the DeLorean from Universal. I'll find this weird shit when I'm out, like a picture of a cow that was shaped into a couch, and I'm like,
What?
like Moo said on me, like just stupid shit, and it
Straight on Matty's Instagram.
yeah, or like sometimes I'll go to like me and my wife will go downtown and do crazy shit, and if we see something unique or interesting, like boom, I'll take a shot, put it on Instagram. It's just I would say keep it to extremely interesting things that are obtuse and unique to your world and showcase it to people. But yeah,
You want to give them a little peek behind the curtain of your stream.
You don't
but
want to
not
see
too
behind
much
the
of a
curtain.
peek. Yeah.
Just a dribble.
I agree. The thing is, I completely agree with you, mate. At the moment, for me personally, I'm not doing anything interesting at the moment because of the stupid pandemic. But when back when times were normal, I did the same things. Like I posted pictures of me at Comic-Con, for example, or I went to this it was so cool. It was like this arcade games event. They had all of the arcade machines, like all of them. Like, it was this big warehouse.
God.
And then so they had all the arcades, and then I had all of the consoles. I don't mean like all the consoles. It was done in this massive warehouse, and like films and stuff. And yeah, that's the sort of stuff that you want to be putting on Instagram. But yeah, like interesting things. I think you're right. I think Twitter is like, okay, let's show you stuff about stream. Instagram can be stuff about you. What did I put? I think I posted. Oh, it was me. I did the face. Is it Facetune? The thing people were doing it loads like a month ago on our Discord. Where it's like you morph your face onto something, like on a character. Or
Oh,
something.
that was the face app or reface.
Yeah.
Yeah, reface. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I did it with Lady, the tall lady
I
in
saw
the
that.
Resident Evil Village.
Yeah.
And I'm actually gonna cosplay her. And I thought this would be funny because everyone's talking about her and it's horror related. And
See, that was amazing. That's relevant and that's perfect.
yeah, exactly. And it was relevant to my brand as well. It doesn't always have to be. It could be live stuff, but yeah.
Let's go play hockey.
Social media, one.
You see, that's my other Twitter is all about hockey.
Fucking love hockey, man. We're gonna spend a whole podcast one day. We're gonna talk about the Flyers and the Penguins. That's my jam.
Oh, yeah. We're gonna talk. What are you, Flyers or Penguins?
I'm a Penguins fan. I'm from
Okay,
Pennsylvania, but I'm mostly a Penguins guy. I like the Flyers. I like the mascot,
Gritty.
and I
mean,
love Gritty, but I don't like the fans.
I don't play hockey. I don't watch hockey, but I want to support Penguins because I love Penguins.
I'm a
That's nothing
long-
to do with it.
Good-
I'm
It's
a
a good reason.
long-suffering Leafs fan, so they've never won in my lifetime, and my
Yeah.
parents were children last time they won. So there you go.
It'll happen, just like the Sox in baseball. Like not too long ago, they finally broke the curse. It'll happen.
Yeah, hopefully.
Dude,
Tired of the
I'm loving it.
jokes.
No more jokes. Hashtag whatever. Let's save them. Let's save the Leafs.
Oh, hashtags as well.
Yeah,
Yes,
hashtags.
hashtags. Not too many
Please make them
hashtags.
relevant. I learnt this. I didn't realize this. I think Kaiser and Maddie taught me this. 3 maximum. They
Yes,
taught me
that's the sweet spot.
because if it's any more than that, it will be regarded as spam. Like
Yeah.
as not. The algorithms will regard it as spam, and what I think you get less. It will kind of put it in the back.
Pulls your
burner or
SEO
something like
rank,
that. I'm
yeah.
not what. That's it. See, these guys know what they're talking about.
See, one of my other pet peeves on tweets are people that are like, "I'm live now at," and they just tag like
Oh,
a bunch
yeah.
of like the automatic bot retweets.
Yep.
And so like
Yeah.
your tweet about going live is like 5 words, and the rest of your tweet is just names. I'm skipping over that tweet.
Yeah.
If you want to tag people, tag them in a photo. or
Yes.
Image. Do not
Yes.
tag them. It is so. I hate it. I
Yeah.
funny enough, I was literally talking about this earlier about people that tag. If you want to tag people in photos and images, that's fine because at
Mhm.
least it's tidier looking.
Mhm.
It just looks like spam. I'm not going to
Yes.
look at that tweet because I'm like, it's just purely there, just tagging a load of people for like literally no reason. Do not.
Yeah.
do
Not to
that.
mention, it's taking away from the actual content of your tweet
Yeah.
because you're using up those precious
Exactly.
characters with someone else's name.
And don't then follow up by commenting on the tweet, tagging more people because I've seen
Oh my
someone do that as well.
God.
And you're like, no.
Yeah, be smart about
Stop.
it.
The only time I'll at someone in a going live tweet is if I'm streaming with someone, going live with
Yeah,
at whoever, or if it's like an
it's
indie game.
relevant.
If
Yeah.
it's an indie game, I might tag the developer.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
because
that's
sometimes,
relevant. Yeah.
exactly. But it's not like at at Nintendo, at Microsoft, at Sony, going live now
At Marvel.
at Marvel, at
someone
DC.
At Nestle Chocolate.
Yeah. Tag
Going
someone
live.
because they're relevant to the tweet,
Yeah.
Yes.
not because you want them to see it.
Exactly.
It's just it's just spammy. Like what? I don't get it.
You got it.
No
Drop
one's
mic.
gonna like. Someone might like it just because you tagged, but purely to be honest, if someone's tagged me in something like that, I'm like, I'm not liking it. That's so annoying.
It is.
That's my
It's too
next
much.
going live tweet. Live now
Yeah.
at Flemma at Flemma at Flemma.
Sometimes-
at Flemma.
But I've been tagged in tweets like that aren't even an @ live tweet. It was just, I don't think they're in the elite, but it was just like, oh, it's my birthday, retweet this, and decide what I want to play. There was no
This-
poll, so I'm like, what?
It's so weird.
I didn't understand. That they're
Well,
nice.
if you're
they're
not
a
gonna
nice
put a-
person, but it's just like, what?
If you're not going to put a poll, you're opening up to me making a stupid suggestion. Pong, full playthrough of Pong.
Yep.
Yes.
That's what I want.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I
make
was,
use
I was
of
more
tools.
confused, if anything. Yeah.
You leave yourself open for the trolleys, and then your soup gets
Pong.
spilled.
Yeah, and you're like, oh
I
shit.
mean, I should have just trolled.
Leisure Suit Larry.
Yes. I'm not
Oh
allowed,
my
but
God,
yes.
that game. I don't think you're allowed to stream it.
I
on
don't know
Twitch
either. I
because
don't
it's
think you are.
It's very rude. You can stream it on YouTube. It's a very naughty game.
It's a naughty.
Very naughty.
It's like Courage the Cowardly Dog. The little guy
think
comes in naughty.
Oh my God.
I think a Leisure Suit Larry game is
show.
on sale on Fanatical right now for like $3.
You heard it
If
here,
anyone's interested.
guys. If you have anybody's interested in Leisure Suit Larry, if you like
I was
flashing
looking
in
up-
public,
If,
I was
they
looking up
might not know
deals.
what it is. You'll have to
I was
Google it first. But...
I was looking up deals on Fanatical, and that was one of the things. I'm like, okay, no, thank you.
I love Fanatical, but
Amazing.
yeah, that's funny. Man, guys, I love it. We did great today. I think we nailed a lot of things. Some closing thoughts that I have is, include all your socials on your Twitch, kind of like what Nick said earlier. And don't let them collect dust, and be consistent with them, and, go towards your target audience with the specific social medias and link them into each other. Maybe your Facebook people want to check out your Twitter, vice versa, and interact. And then post OC instead of just going live. We talked about that. We nailed it. We nailed it with a little hammer on the nail. We did such good things with that. You guys have any closing thoughts before we wrap it up?
I mean, just I guess reiterating, less is more.
Less is more.
Yeah.
Just like this closing
originate.
thought.
Less is more.
Just think of all the people. If you did just a live tweet, just think of all the people that just have done the same thing. Make original. Stand
Yeah.
out.
Stand
Be
out,
you.
guys.
You be you.
Going
Yeah.
for some dubs, yeah.
Going for some dubs and interactions.
That's it. Going for some. That's the word I was trying to think of.
Yeah, guys, save yourself the humiliation and get some interactions on your tweet. Don't get people hyped up for nothing. Get those interactions, baby. We know how it's done. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us on the latest edition of the Elite Podcast featuring Flem and the Nixter. Awesome returning guests talking about social media and a little bit of hockey and soup. Until next time, guys, we appreciate you. We love you. All hail the Elite. Bye-bye.
Bye.